Hi guys, my very first YouTube video was how to make shaker skulls, and it was very poor quality, so I thought I'd redo it, but with a twist. So I've got everything set up here. We've got some plastic film, a cup. Those are the Christmas ornaments that you can buy. I'm adding in equal parts water and vegetable glycerin. Pour both of those into the same cup so that they can be mixed together. The more glycerin you use, the slower the spin on the items that you put in there, if that makes sense. So I'm going to add in a little bit of red glitter, a little bit of black alcohol ink, and then I've got these really fun holographic bats by Renfio, and I'm going to add in some of those too because, you got to have something swimming around. The glitter does okay, but these larger pieces work a lot better to get that good spin. Okay, now we're going to take our plastic and we're going to trace the center of the opening. You don't want to go too far over. It's okay if it's a little bit bigger, but you don't want to make it smaller. And then we're going to cut those little circles out of our sheet of plastic. That is what's going to cover that opening after we pour in our water and glycerin mixture. So I just want to make sure that they are going to fit okay without falling in, and they do. They fit fine. So now I'm going to make sure this is still good and mixed, and I'm going to pour half into each one, except that I have no depth perception, and pour it a little bit on the table as per usual. Now we're going to do the second one. And as you can see, it didn't quite fill it up, so I'm going to put a little bit more of the glycerin in there. It didn't fill it up because I spilled part of it on the table. Now we're going to take our UV resin and we're going to trace just around the edge of that circle. You don't want to put it in the middle, just around the edge. Yes, I should have gloves on doing this. I don't know why I don't, but I must have forgot to put them on. So then we put that little circle that we just traced just around the edge and put that on the top of the bauble. Then we're going to take our UV light and put that on there for a minute. Obviously, I cut that out. You don't want to sit there for a minute. And now I'm going to take my UV resin and trace right around the edge. Avoid the center for right now. You want it just around the edge. And if it drips down, it's okay. Now I'm going to take my syringe. Be very careful with these, but these are clean syringes that I only use for resin. I'm going to suck up a little bit of the water in there and gently press that into the very center. And you do this as many times as needed to fill it all the way up. That makes it so you don't have that big air bubble when it's all done. So I'm going to do that to both of them. And like I said, I'm just using water. And then I'm going to take my UV resin and go across the whole thing, including the center now, to seal that little hole that we just made. And just seal it with the UV light for another minute. And then you do the same thing. This just helps fill that bauble up the rest of the way, because when you're doing it the other way without using a syringe, you always get a little bit of an air bubble. This just takes that air bubble away. That's how you make that center part. They do look cloudy at first, but the more they mix up, the less cloudy they look. All right, now we're into the next phase of this. I got this mold and it's a snake head, so it's too small to put a shaker thing in. So I'm going to take my chameleon flakes and trace the inside of the snakes. Now, as you can see, the flakes don't spread like chameleon powder does. And that's what I was going for. I just want bits and pieces of this pretty blue color throughout. And I'm going to do that on go all the way around it for all of the snakes that are in there. Once that is done, I'm going to use this really cool green chameleon mica powder and go over the top of that so that where those bare spots are, the chameleon powder are going to fill in. And it's just going to give it kind of a cool effect at the end. So again, I'm going to just trace all the way around those snakes. And then when you're done, you just flip it right side out. And that one is set and ready to go. Now we're going to start pouring resin. I have just clear resin. I'm going to fill it about a quarter of the way, and I'm going to stick in that bauble that we made. Now you can tilt this or whatever. This one I'm just doing flat. You can also use a popsicle stick to hold it in place. You don't have to, because if it turns, it's not that big of a deal. Now we're doing this pink one. Now this mold I have never poured before. This is brand new mold. My daughter actually bought it for me, but I just want to see what it would look like. So I'm doing a clear pour on it, because when I'm doing a brand new mold, I don't really know what it's going to look like. So I'm going to do a clear pour with the shaker in it, just so that we can see. And I poured it almost all the way to the top. Now for the one that we painted with the snakes, I'm going to use my black eye candy pigment paste and mix that into the rest of the resin that I've got here. And I'm just going to fill that mold all the way up to the top, because we're not going to do anything else with that one. And now those are going to have to set for another 24 hours. And here we are, the magic of cinema. All right, so that one with the snake is completely done, but I'm not going to take it out of the mold yet. I want to take them all out at the same time. So for this pink one, I want to leave that bottom clear, but I'm going to put a little bit of this holographic glitter in it, just to give it a little bit of something. Because like I said, I don't know what that one's going to look like when I take it out. So I overfilled it, of course. So I'm just going to scrape off that excess to make sure that I have enough for the other ones. And I don't like to waste resin. Now for the center one, I'm going to use my Mayspring Tanzanite blue, I think is the color. It's a gorgeous blue color, but that's what I'm going to fill the rest of that mold up with. Look at that color. I absolutely love it. I'm so in love with that. And all it takes is one scoop into about, I think that's about 4 ounces of resin, around there. And I'm just going to mix that in really good. Make sure we've got that color. And then I'm just going to fill that mold all the way, the rest of the way to the top. And like I said, I could have tilted that when I put the clear in, but I really just wanted straight lines on this one. I had a little bit of extra from the other one, so I filled that in. Okay, now we are 24 hours later, and we're going to take these bad boys out of the mold and see what we've got. We're going to start with the snake one. Look at that. I love how that turned out. And you can see that blue flake coming through the green chameleon powder. Now this one is the shaker one, the classic shaker. Let's get that out of the mold. And there it is. Now you can tell my mold is old. I use my molds until they rip. But I'm going to show you how to make sure that you get the best shine off of these. And let's just take this last one out. Like I said, this is the one I've never done before. So I want to see what this comes out. And oh, there it is. I was not expecting that at all. I knew it had a pattern to it, but I didn't know it had that frosted look. So I'm going to coat that one with clear resin also, and I'm going to show you how I finish these off. So when I first set these up, I forgot to hit record. So these first two, I actually already had put a coat of resin on top. So I'm going to show you how I do this on the third one. This is Promise Table Epoxy. This is not my normal Unicone resin because Promise Epoxy table resin is a lot thicker and it works better for coating. So I just pour a little bit over the top, use my gloved hand, and disperse it all over, making sure that I get all of those little areas like the eyes and nose, and spread it all the way down. And I've done this on all of them. I just want to make sure that they all have a really good finishing coat that brings out that shine. And you can see on that one in the middle there, I did take my oil-based paint markers and I kind of painted some of those raised areas a little bit too, just to give it a little bit of something. I don't know, I was playing with it, just trying to see what I could do with that mold because like I said before, it's the first time I've poured that one and I kind of just wanted to play with it a little bit. That one also has a shaker in it, but you can't see it very well because of the frosted look and then the pattern on it. So I probably won't do a shaker on that one again. But here they are, all finished, dried, and with that extra coat on them, I just think it brings out all of the color and the shine even better. That's the snake one. This is your classic shaker one with the two tones. And I do really like how that one turned out also. And then this was that frosted one that I coated, put some paint on it, and on a light base, it's actually pretty cool. You can kind of see that shaker in the center, and when you shake it up, you can kind of see them moving, but you can't tell what is in them. But I do really like this, and I've got some ideas for some future projects for this. I hope you guys liked this video and learned something from it. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments. I will get back to you. I will link all of the products that I used in the description below if you want to try this. I hope you guys liked it. Please, if you did, give me that thumbs up and subscribe. Have a great day.